There's a story to spoil, so we'll be doing that for the Echoes of Vengeance update, and we'll be speculating on what comes next. So that and more on this episode of the Skate Podcast for Star Wars: The Old Republic. Our broadcast to Astromech today is EPC 363. And playing alongside me is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
It's going really well. I'm excited with the new story, Echoes of Vengeance. So I played through that. I haven't done the Flashpoint yet, but you and I did that on the PTS. Well, I don't want to say anything. I guess I won't say anything else about it.
Yeah, we will be spoiling it in the second half of the show, but not in the first half of the show. So yes, I had a lot of fun with it too, but no spoilers. Yes. We'll give you plenty of warning when we get to the spoiler part. For the first half, just news and that. So yeah. Yes. What else have you been doing this week?
This week during MFM we did one of our most venerated operations, which is Karagas Palace. I think we've done that one. Feels like more than any other.
Yeah, well, we probably. I mean, you go back over the course of the last 9 years, we may have done it more than any other in the whole game. Very well.
I do enjoy it. It's just I don't like that first fight, as everybody knows,
No,
and everybody knows, and it's
everybody knows.
And it's like, and if there was anyone who didn't know, now you do. So anyway, so we did Karagas Palace, which was fun after the first boss, and we had someone tanking who had never tanked, who had been to Karagas Palace but had never tanked in there before, so that was cool. Then tonight on our operations night, we did something that we haven't done in ages, which is we combined with another operations team to do a 16-man run, and that was the Porg team. And we went into Nature of Progress, otherwise known as Duxon, and Romvel stomped in there, which was really fun.
Yeah.
And then of course lots of achievements, right? Because we got the 16-man versions of all those achievements.
Right.
And then we went and killed Nightmare Penguin, and then we went and killed Lucky. So it was a very productive night.
It was great.
We might do the same with oh my gosh, the droid one.
Isaac's Gods from the Machine.
Or use your words, Seema. Yeah, Gods from the Machine. That one is maybe going to be on the agenda. So anyway, yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed it, and it's fun playing with new people, and it was fun going back to that particular operation because we haven't done it for a while. Nobody got any Apex Predator drops though, sadly. But, RNG, what you gonna do?
Right.
How has your week been?
It has been pretty good. We did not get Apex Predator dropping from Duxon, but I am up to 5 pieces now, 5 out of 7. One more, and I'll probably switch, at least to try, switch my Merc back to Arsenal to give it a shot. The one extra piece that I did get this week is on Kaizyken this weekend, and it's the headpiece, which I did not have. So that's lucky. I need 2 more pieces now, and it's going to be a challenge. One of the places that people said that they have gotten those pieces is by buying the random item off of Kaizyken, so I might start trying that. Otherwise, running Duxon and hoping for drops is the best option, is what it sounds like. We have a handful of us that are going after Apex Predator as well, so I think getting everybody to get in there again and do some more kills, we could probably make it happen. A lot of us want to just finish off that set. Duxon was fun. I tanked on Tuesday in Karagas Palace story mode. People had never been in there before. I got to tell the stories, show that off. That was fun as well. I did a bunch of Echoes of Vengeance, played through the story, recorded it. That's what we'll show in the second half of the show here. That was fun, quite fun and quite well done. I also did not do the Flashpoint because we just did, so I figured we'll get to it in production. I want to see the finished version, but we did it relatively recently. And I did do a couple other things in a couple other games, and one in particular is little Cyberpunk 2077. So I did a little bit of that. Great, seems fun so far. It's a single player game, so it's not the kind of thing that really tends to suck me in. I love trying them out though. I tried out Red Dead Redemption. I tried out Scrim. I I tend to not finish the single player games, but we'll see. Maybe I'll finish this one. I I haven't seen yeah, Fallout. I played maybe a third of Fallout. Again, good, but just didn't finish it. Uh, my interest was at another settlement and in Fallout, and so I did not finish that. It's looking really good. There are some graphical glitches. People are complaining in a couple places that it is a little bit buggy, but not too bad. And it looks pretty cool. I don't have a new video card. I've got a nice 1080 card. I'm trying to get a new Nvidia card, and I'm a little salty that those just don't seem to be available because I'm due for an upgrade. If I could get one, that would be great, and then I could really see how the awesomeness. Although it seems perfectly fine to me, and the performance seems good. But I'm glad we've got some content in Star Wars, and that's been a key focus, and will continue to be. With that, let us get into the rest of the key focus for this week, which is all up in the news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
So in the news, we have a fair amount that has shown up in the bug tracker in a little bit of an interesting way. We've got the bug tracker, quite a bit is in there. It's showing up from two names, though, now as well. So if you remember what we said last week, we've got a new addition to the community team. It's Jackie Co. Jackie did post on a couple items where she's talking to the community about bugs or issues or conversations that are going on. In addition, though, community team, which we think is Natha, is still posting as well. I don't know exactly how that's going to play out, and I hope. I mean, I imagine we'll see how that shakes out. If it's an expanded team, or Natha might do something else, and Jackie's going to take over sort of the bug tracking, but both of them are posting on that kind of thing right now. Not a lot. So Jackie only did a couple things. Natha, our community team, I wish they would just put Natha's name in there if it's Natha, posted a ton. So there's still a lot to do and a lot being tracked. There's probably a big job that they've taken on as far as that goes. And maybe that's what's continuing there. The only thing that seemed to be key that I saw a couple people running into, even in our ops night tonight, was the quick play mode issue. If you have that problem, there are instructions on how to get the game to actually run. If you can't even start the game right now, look in the dev tracker, you'll see that.
So speaking of Jackie Co, she also responded to all the welcome messages, and she gave a little bit of an answer, well, some words anyway, in answer to the question of, can you talk more about what your role actually is and what you'll be doing? And she basically said that she'd be bridging the community and the dev teams and the dev teams and the community, which is basically your basic definition of community management. Um, so I think she's just feeling her way. She says she's going to try different things. I'm not sure what that refers to. But I guess we'll find out in the future.
I guess we will. That sounds interesting to me, that she hasn't been hired in with a specific job description. Not that that's necessarily bad. It could be really interesting. They know she's a great resource. They want to just make her part of the community team and try to create this better connection. So maybe there's goals or some definition of what good looks like. I hope there's something, because it would be hard.
No,
it,
I didn't take that to mean that she didn't have any role, a defined role. I took it to mean that either she can't say or she was answering a different question, like how was she going to do her role of community management?
right. And maybe just the tactics. So the overall strategy and goals are defined, but maybe the tactics. So because she says, what's that look like? That's what I'm gonna be feeling out. What does it resonate? What are the pieces that need attention? I'm gonna be trying out different things, and I'm pretty sure I'll be refeeding receiving feedback on every step. Ha ha. I guess she did read the forums.
I mean, like, maybe yeah, right. I mean, if she was hired to replace Eric Musco because Eric Musco is gonna be doing something else and it hasn't been announced yet, then she wouldn't say that, right?
Possibly. Oh, SEMA with the hot take. The speculation there.
The
Musco's shifting,
the
and she can't
the
yet
irresponsible
say,
speculation.
"I'm gonna be
Yeah.
doing Eric's job, cause I can do it better. Whatever he can do, I can do better." Well, that's interesting. Maybe that's what it is. Regardless, I hope there's some sort of definition, because I wouldn't want to get to her end of year review and for them to go,
You didn't
"So,
accomplish what we wanted.
what do you actually do here?" I don't really do anything. Well, Bob. Anyway, also in the news, they continue to release SWTOR music. So with this new update, 2 more pieces of music will be added to the YouTube channel around the music that you hear as part of the new content, the 6.2 content. You can see it on the YouTube channel. You can keep an eye on it, and it's really cool to get sort of that continuing build out of the soundtrack that's going to be publicly available to all of us. So I like hearing that. That's pretty cool.
Also, we had patch notes and we had 6.2.
Ton of
So
patch note, did we?
yeah, the patch notes are really long. Um, there's things on there like the Conquest reset time update, which we talked about last week. So Conquest is going to reset now with at the same time that everything else does reset, which is 7 a.m. Eastern right now, and it'll be 8 a.m. Eastern,
Yep.
like for 6 months of the year.
Right. Yeah.
Um, this is a really big one. They added currency separators all over the place. So currency separators is like commas for us in the U.S., but it's dots in other languages. But it makes it really clear when you're referring to an amount, just how big that
Right.
amount is.
How many comas there are is very important. Like, are there tres comas or not? That's really the key question. Uh, if I COD something to Tassima for tres comas, then she'll know what I'm talking about.
Yes, and I'll totally pay it for sure.
Well,
Um, but a really big
you
thing is
can
now
pay it, and
when
that's the key point.
that's right, I
You
can.
could.
I couldn't if it's more than like 1.1 trace comas though. Okay, maybe 1.3. Anyway, but a really big thing is now when you buy various pieces of spoils of war gear, it's going to count towards the achievement for acquiring them, which that has been not true for a long time. And even though they intended it for it to be true, because if you put in a ticket, they would fix it for you. Now it's officially should work. So that's pretty
Right.
big.
That was a key pain for, especially for some of our achievement hunters who were collecting all of the sets. And in
Yeah.
fact, if you sent a message to, if you submitted a ticket, they would update your achievements, especially if that's sort of the key gameplay that you're going after. Now being able to just make that happen automatically is good. I thought I heard someone though, and we'll have to confirm, it might have been Medulla, saying if it doesn't seem like it still didn't stick, you still didn't get the achievement for it, if you mail it to a different character, it seemed to trigger it.
Yeah,
I think I saw him say
right.
something like that.
I mean, he did say that. Like it's not retroactive, but you can fix it yourself by
You
mailing it
can
to one of your alts.
force it, forcing function
Force
there.
it. Yeah. Um, let's see. Another thing, um, what was I going to mention here? Oh yeah, process isotope stabilizer. You can now purchase that from the Spoils of War vendor for tech fragments. It's nice to have another thing to use tech fragments on.
Yes.
Um, I'm just not interested in process isotope stabilizers myself
Yeah, I'm
because
not all that interested in it
there's
either.
just there's there's like 40 pages of them on the GTNs.
Right.
So I mean, it's not the big relief for me. Like I was telling Max before the show, it'd be nice if it was like IOCath recombinators, but I can see how that wouldn't really make sense either. But,
Right.
the heart wants what the heart wants.
Or the new augment materials, the super rare extra,
Mm,
maybe like for like all your tech frags, 10,000 tech frags, you could get one or something. That would be that would get my attention.
or or a fragment of one somehow.
Something, yeah,
Yeah.
that would get my attention.
Yeah, we should be able to get 100,000 tech fragments, and then we should be able to buy stuff for that amount. Anyway, um, now the parcels from Life Day, if you remember those when you throw snowballs and
I
do various
do.
other things, you get parcels, which is you can use to then buy things. Now it's gonna be a real legacy currency. So you won't have to have the parcels in your inventory. I wonder what's gonna happen to the ones that are in our inventory now.
I don't know. They may stick around. I don't know. Good
Yes,
question.
they might. And then there's gonna be a new achievement to hug more Wookiees, which I was like, "No," I was all
No.
content. I was all content to take a few years to
Is
do
that really necessary?
the 1001. Now I'm gonna be even more behind on my
Yeah.
Wookiee hugging.
Yeah, it's only another 500, but I did not hit the 1,000 the first time around, so now you laying on another 500 is kind of rough. They did get one, and I bet I'll get this achievement, which is the celebration continues, and it's 200 snow-covered parcels obtained by using the Life Day snowball bomb.
Oh, yeah. I should get that one, like, on login.
We get we do guild nights where we throw snowballs all night, and that seems like that's relatively achievable. But the
And
Wookiees,
s
uh,
and Steam wins again because now if you're on Steam, the SWTOR launcher, you don't have to open up the launcher to in order to update the game. It's gonna Steam does that. So, another thing another thing
another one that Steam is doing
to,
well. We've got some real Steam fans amongst our ranks, and they continue to extol the virtues of Steam as a launching platform, which I'm starting to agree with, although I don't launch Star Wars off of Steam.
I mean, ever since I started doing it, I never went back, so I've been using Steam all the time now. The only
You always
thing
don't
I
never not launch on anything
Yeah,
else
right,
except Steam?
right, right.
Got it.
Except for when we were on the PTS, then um,
Right.
I went native on that one.
Old school.
Yes.
I'm launching
So
Cyberpunk off of Steam. I was gonna buy it. In fact, it might have even been slightly better for the publisher for me to buy it off of GOG, Good Old Games or something. But there was gonna be like another installer and another launcher, and I don't want that. I don't even want Steam as a launcher. I sure as heck don't want another launcher. And then I launched it on Steam, and then you launch it on Steam, and it says, "Oh, do you want to also install this other launcher?" Like, no, no, click, 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 no. Thank
well,
you.
before we get too far into all that, is there anything else in the patch notes that caught your eye?
Yes. And this was brought up in guild chat as well, and I think it was Medulla again. The HK51 companion has been tweaked. And I didn't realize even that it was this much of an issue. If you have HK51 as a tank role, he was an inadequate tank. There were some of his abilities that just didn't work right. He wasn't really that good of a tank if you were trying to use him as a tank. I always used him as either DPS or healing. His DPS abilities were kind of cool. Whether they were great or not, I'm more interested in how awesome they look. But as a tank, now he's fixed up. He's working really well, and I think that's good. And then, yeah, we sort of glossed over it. I think we talked about it in the last 2 weeks quite a bit. All of the parts of the update. So
Yeah,
just to
the the
remember,
main the main parts, like the new flashpoint, the new story,
I've been
the
getting the
login
login
rewards.
rewards.
Yeah.
People have been complaining, not complaining, but commenting that some of these daily rewards seem a little weak. I think they are, and I think that's intended, and that's the same as any game. Every game I have login rewards. Like you'll get a lot of like little token party gifts, parting gifts, party gifts, party favors, and it's not intended to be much, but you will once every 7 days get a little bit bigger thing. And if you log in and are a subscriber and log in at least 4 times during a week, you'll get a little bit bigger thing at the end of the week. That's fine. That's perfectly fine for me. And I think that's all a login reward system needs to be. Life Day
I kind of
celebration.
I like
Ooh.
the idea that they're doing it, but I kinda wish they would have come up with something that didn't actually add something to my inventory. I don't know what that would be, but
Well, I
I just
vendored vendored it immediately. The
yeah,
stems.
but yeah, it goes into your inventory and then
True.
you have to do something with it.
Yeah, if you could, at the time that you're redeeming it, if you could redeem it as like tech fragments or just just credits instead of the item you get to like pick, then that might help. Then it would never even go in your inventory. That would be amazing. I forgot about the 9-year anniversary vendor. Have you visited the 9-year anniversary
No.
vendor
No,
yet?
I haven't. I have not.
Remember, folks, 9 credits. Dromikas and Coruscant. There are people actually now that I'm thinking about it that are new to the game that have probably not gotten those, and now they can get them both for 9 credits. But do it now because as soon as the
'Cause
9-year
next
anniversary is over, next year it's going to go up to 10 credits. You'll get
That's right.
screwed.
That's right. Yeah, don't wait.
You'll get screwed. And we've been playing with the emote window too. We were playing with the emote, the window tonight. We're emoting all over the place. Hey, BioWare, I know you're listening. No, they're not. When I have the emotes open and I either slash emote or I click an emote, if I'm doing one emote and I click on another emote, why do I don't have these unlocked on this character? I've got all these. Whatever, I'll just have to. I anyway, if I'm doing one emote and I click on another emote, it should transition to that second emote. I shouldn't have to like jump or something, stop the emote I'm doing and then go to another emote. In particular, the dances, because man, you are harshing my jive, my move. I got my sweet moves, man, and I got to like transition smoothly from one to the other, if you know what I mean. And I can't like I can't club dance right into a get down and it's just not working. So that's how emote should work. If I just click on another emote, it should transition right into that other emote. I shouldn't have to like be hopping up and down in between. It looks ridiculous. Okay. Also, we got a post this week. Back to the news and shut up, Max. All right. Back to the news. We also got the list of known issues. There are a bunch of known issues. Check them out. People have already been encountering some of these known issues. For example, if you did do a solo mode Spirit of Vengeance Flashpoint, the health of Gorga Brack was a crazy amount of health. He didn't have the abilities, but he had the health of the master mode version of Gorga Brack. So it was a long, 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 long fight if you were doing it. That should be getting fixed if it's not fixed already. They said they were going to be fixing that really quick. There's a few other things in here. It broke the update. It broke a couple things in Knights of the Eternal Throne. I don't know why. Probably because of something to do with the guild ship and legacy renaming. I think that's it.
Yeah,
Uh,
clearly.
so there are a couple known issues in weird places, including the new content, which is where I would expect the known issues to be. Check them out if you've got any questions.
Oh, also, December events, which we talked about last week as well. Um, but they are I'm definitely not clicking on it right now.
Pirates, we just finished Pirates.
Okay,
Rackles, so nothing this week.
yeah, Rat Goals next week.
Rackles next week. Then Life Day starts also on the 15th.
Yes, same on the
Got it.
15th. They both start on the 15th, and that's when the 9-year anniversary starts,
Oh,
which
okay. So
I
it doesn't
figured
start yet. Oh, I got
yeah.
it. Okay.
So that's why I haven't checked the, anniversary vendor yet.
That's why I haven't as well. Otherwise, I would have been because I'm spot on. As soon as something shows up, I'm in there. I'm doing it. Is
A
nightlife still going on?
and then the last, week of well, the last 2 weeks of Okay, anyway, December 22nd, we're gonna get the Swoop Rally event again,
Swoop,
and
there it
then
is.
the very, very end of December is gonna be Pirate Incursion again.
There is a
A little bit.
note in the dev tracker. It's weird that Pirate Incursion is coming up twice again in a month while a couple other events are getting skipped,
Mhm,
and it's throwing things off in terms of Conquest as well because they line up Conquest with the events. Daniel explains it a little bit. I think it's Pirate Incursion is a little bit newer, so they're trying to get that in still a little more often. Same thing with
mhm.
Swoop Rally, a little more
Like,
often. So it's okay.
people are still working on the rep and stuff for the
Right.
newer ones, maybe.
So that's all right. That seems like a reasonable approach. How about our guild news? We got a couple things coming up this month.
Mega this month is gonna be on December 18th, and I don't know for sure, but I think that snowballs might be involved somehow,
I think there'll
maybe?
be a little bit of planetary PvP achievements, like getting a bunch of people to face off and shoot each other a little bit, and I believe snowballs will be a part of it. I think I heard that.
And
Yeah,
then on the other Fridays in December, the plans are to do what we always do on Fridays, which is either master mode, flashpoints, or achievements. Um, 2 of those Fridays, though, are gonna be the day after Christmas and the day after New Year's, so, you know, your mileage may vary, and if you need somewhere to go on those holiday days, then definitely go there, but it may not be super well attended because the holidays are tricky for that.
Trixie, they are tricky. And also, shout out to the chat room. See a ton of people in there tonight. I think a lot of people are probably pretty interested and excited, having fun with the latest content. Oh, look, I'm riding the floaty dice. I'm riding the dodecahedron.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, you are.
oh yeah, you are. Seema says, and the crowd goes mild. Oh yeah, you are. Look at that.
The crowd goes mild. I have never heard that one.
anyway, anyways, shout out to the chat room. Thanks to all of you for helping us out in there. I just stucked out of it. It just blasted me back up to this location. Uh uh and I really appreciate everybody being in there. We will catch up with you after the show. If you'll be sticking around, which I know some of you may not be, some of you may need to put it on pause because we are just about to talk about some changes to the game, which might include spoilers.
Which it will
Game
include
changer.
spoilers.
Game changer,
Game changer for
game changer for the industry.
Yeah, to be clear, as Simo was clarifying there, this will be very spoilery. It will be so spoilery we will actually be showing you my recorded video of the content, talking about
Right.
everything we know, talking about lore that leads into it, talking about our speculation about what comes next. So this is your last chance. Spoiler time. Big time spoiler talk, spoilery speculation, spoiling. We're gonna pour the tea out. We're gonna talk smack or everything. Wow, the chat room is leaving. Sorry, guys. It's topical. We gotta have topics when the topics come up. Then you can tune back in when we publish this after you see it, hopefully in the next few days, because it's really good stuff. All right, all right. So, how did it look? How did it feel? Well, start off with the question Seema loves to hate, just like the Rancor in Karaga's palace. What did you think of it overall, Seema?
So, here's when I first started it, I was feeling like, "Well, why are they doing that? What did I miss?" But by the time I got to the end, I was like, "This is so awesome." And, there might have been a tear along the way. I mean,
Yeah,
just I was I and I did this thing which I don't often do where I put my headset on and I just was focusing on the game. And I wasn't like didn't have something going on in the other monitor, and
right.
uh, I could hear everything. Just it just kind of makes it your own little world when you do that. So it was, plus Scourge has this great voice, and then when we see Valkorion, and I can just remember the last when we heard from Darren DePaul in the last live stream, how fantastic that was. So that was playing in my mind.
Yeah.
And then because I had the headset on, I could really hear the music, and the music I felt was really added a lot. And then the Mindscape thing was so beautiful.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, it
mean,
was. In
it had
fact,
crystals of all different colors everywhere, and
it made me want a Mindscape stronghold. That's the idea I had
ooh.
when I got into there. It's like, why don't we do a Mindscape stronghold? Wouldn't that be
So
amazing?
so
Like,
tell the truth, when you got into the Mindscape, did you jump off?
I did not because I was recording. I so wanted to, but I was recording and I didn't want to like have to like
Yes.
edit out a part or have a long part where I'm like running back. But oh, you'll even see in the video. I'm like toes at the edge looking down. Did you jump off?
Actually, I would like to say that I jumped off, but I got knocked off.
I almost got knocked off, and I knew it was gonna happen. I tried to even
I did too.
run past it, but he got me, but I didn't fall off. I was we'll go to that part too.
I wasn't paying super attention at that moment because I was feeling aggravated that I didn't have a companion right then, which I
Right,
feel
right.
like
That's the part where we
I
didn't. You're right.
I always I don't know why I do this, but I take it kinda personally when they do that because I'm like, "Do you not know me? Do you not know that I do this stuff in my healing spec? Do you not know that it's
Right,
gonna take me so long to kill even a strong,
right.
even just a regular silver?" And I'm like, I didn't." So that was my and then I was like, "Oh, you knocked me off. Well, that makes sense."
Of course. Add insult to injury, you jerk. You
However,
lightsaber jerk.
I am now here as an expert in being knocked off in the Mindscape to tell you that, um, you end up back on Tython, and you
Okay,
have to run all the way back to where you were.
okay. Well, that's the thing. I I really like it. I did the same thing as you. I shut everything down. I was recording, so I didn't do as much as I wanted to, but I figured I'd be fast forwarding as well, and I've got a bunch of timings in here of when we'll fast forward to. I spent a lot of time looking around. I looked at decorations. I looked at the design of the different areas and the zones and the ship and the mindscape. And I agree. They did a great job on the design, the layout, the script. I we'll get to some of the key plot points as well, which I really liked. It's like a big cast of characters, a big cast of voices, really great voice acting, as you said, Darren DePaul, but he's not the only one. I mean, they pulled out all the stops, and it was a significant amount of content. So I have 90 minutes on the video is about what I did just to go through, and that doesn't include the flashpoint. So I did the main story in 90 minutes, which is good. I mean, that's solid. That's longer than I expected. All right, so let's kick it off. Let's go through a little bit. I'm here in the beginning. I'm showing some of the starting scene. You get called into the headquarters, and you're here with Shea Vizsla. You get to meet or Jakaya Ordo. Uh, this is so they did this. I think this was just some like side conversation and setup to what ends up being part of the Flashpoint and the story of the Flashpoint. They hit hard on the whole Jakaya Ordo conversation. Do we do the Flashpoint in solo mode with Jakaya Ordo? I think we do, don't we? I think we do, and I think that's who what's his name voice acts. That's all the Jakaya Ordo stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's why they wanted to hit extra hard on introducing Jakaya Ordo. All right, that's all making sense. Because I didn't. Oh wait, Ras Ordo is okay. So his brother Ras Ordo. All right. So
Sorry, I was only half listening, but yes, Brass Ordo is yes, from the voice actor that we
Okay,
heard
so
of
still it's still a connection. We get to talk to Jakaya. Jakaya is sort of the holding down the fort for Shea Vizsla while Shea Vizsla is off helping us out, even though she's the Mandalore. This is interesting. The I the only thing that sounded a little weird to me was he wanted to meet me. He wanted to like get my measure. He wanted to look into my, like he says it here. He says, I wanted to look into your eyes over hollow, apparently. like you really get a sense of, staring at our face and looking at our eyes in as a hologram.
Yes. Yes, you can.
Oh, you can? Okay.
Yes, you can. Because, I mean, that very first pair of instances, Black Essilus and Black Essilus, Essilus and Black Talon, you totally could tell what Kilran was
Oh,
thinking and
Kilran.
what he thought of us, and
Alas, poor
also,
Kilran. I knew him well.
I mean, and Darth Vader, he force choked people through those hollows. So yeah,
There's
a
that.
lot of
Okay.
yeah.
All right. They seem a little hazy and janky to me, but if you can really get a sense of me as a person via via the hologram, I'll buy it. You got it. But this does the setup. They talk about the clan issues. The other thing I thought was interesting just in these first couple parts was you finish this first conversation, this part of the quest completes, and then you talk to, and I see here I am looking at the decos. I love these trophy cases on the walls in this operations room. Those are so cool. But then you have a second conversation. And I thought that was interesting that I almost thought that they could have released this a week ahead of time, like the first one. Release the first one a week ahead of time, release the second one with this as to sort of kick it off. You didn't do anything in between the two the two separate missions and the two separate conversations. They didn't like make you go, kill sky troopers or something. I didn't get why it wasn't just one long conversation at that point, because there was no break in between. So I thought that was a little bit weird.
I didn't get it, but I also thought, oh, cool. I don't have to kill sky troopers right now.
Wait, this part was released a few weeks before?
Yeah, the part with
What?
with Jera Kaya, yeah,
Jakaya
where he
Ordo?
yeah, where
The
he
first
takes your
convers
measure.
that
Yeah.
was released? Okay. Oh my See,
We
actually, to
we
be
get them mixed up because we also did them on the
I
PTS,
didn't do it.
so
I never done it. I had never done it before. So I was dumb and didn't see it pop up in my thing, and I didn't click launch and play it. Or
oh.
or was it not? And since I just said it now, BioWare thought it was such a great idea. They went back in time, and you thought that they actually released it before, but they hadn't. And this is now you're living in a different timeline that
So
was
Valkorion went into our minds and altered our memory.
there you go. This seems like it should have come out a couple weeks ago. Yeah, it did, Max. Oh.
Well, see, that means you were right. It should have.
It totally seemed that way. All right, well there you go. All right, fast forward, going ahead, blah blah blah. Next thing that comes up, then we get to hang out and we catch up with we just start to see just the cutscene alone. T7 is out in space and he discovers the ship. So this is the Spirit of Vengeance. No, the Spirit of Vengeance is Shea Vizsla's ship. That's where we're doing the flashpoint. What's the name of Scourge's and Kira's ship here?
Is it the I just call it T7's ship.
But the one where Satil Shan is on, not his little fighter. What is the big ship? The huge one. Enormous, huge ship.
It's very huge.
We'll just call it the huge hulking, huge ship. Must be compensating for something. Ship. Anyway, I liked seeing T7 out there by himself. This was a little bit broken for me. So here's this enemy ship shows up. You hear the laser sounds, and later on, when they're coming after you and you hear the laser sounds, my cutscenes didn't have any laser beams in them. So that part did not show up correctly in my cutscenes. I don't know if your cutscenes had laser blaster bolts, but mine
I
did
did
not.
not know what was going on in that scene until afterwards, and they were talking about it. So maybe I was missing some laser bolts that would have made
We
it make
should
more
submit
sense.
a ticket. Someone write a postcard with this bug note. Ooh, did you see that? I liked this part. So we find out from T7 that he's found the ship. We find out that someone is attacking him. It's bad news. And why am I having a problem here? Why is it playing super slow speed? Hey, come on, man. Come on, man. There we go. And then Scourge punches the table super hard. It is quite impressive. I like that. No, I have the sound off. You guys want me to turn the sound on? I can turn the sound on. I'll just turn it on a little bit lower.
No, that was part of his joke about not seeing lasers in space.
We need to get there now.
There he
The
punches
servants
the
have
table.
found their master.
Oh, and he's
The
got
servants?
the voice
Can't
acting is
believe
good.
there are any
Scourge
of
is
them
great in
left.
this. I really like
servants?
Scourge.
They're the Sith
I was
Emperor's
really
worst
worried about
servants.
T7 at
They don't
this
even
point
have
because
names, just
he
servant
does this little
one,
thing where
servant
his
two,
head
and
kind of looks down like they do when they get really sad, and I thought, "Oh my god, I hope someone didn't just
Oh, what if they
fill
killed
him full of flesh."
T7?
Yeah.
That would have been sad. They should have. Just to have something sad happen. But no, T7 does not die. We're
Shut up,
going through.
Max.
He does. Scourge has super anger management issues, and Kira talks about it, and she's like helping him through it. They're a good pair. This worked out really well, teaming them up. I think they character wise, I think they play off each other well. I think they're a good team, and I like both of them in this. I don't feel like telling either one of them to shut up. So that's a good thing. So we need to go off now and chase down the ship. We've found out where it is. T7 has set us up the bomb, so we get to go do that. We go back, and apparently we need to catch up with Lana. Lana tells us that she's going to hold down the fort. She also, it seems to imply here that she couldn't go along even if she wanted to. The whole mind control of the Emperor is just too much for almost everyone, almost, but apparently not for a couple people. So here we get the introduction of Theron Shan stops by, Senya stops by, and
Archon.
Archon stops by. I get that Archon and Senya could be part of this, and I get why Scourge and Kira are immune, and I get why I'm immune. I did not get why Theron would be immune. And here's a choice. And I thought this was interesting. I just sort of glossed over. I'm like, you want to come? Come on, let's go. So I told all of them they could come here. What did you do, Seema?
Oh, I told them all to stay behind.
No way, man. Stay off. Get up on out of here with your mind, with your sad eyes and your mind controlness. And then how did that work out for you, Seema?
They showed up anyway.
They show up anyway. And I figured they would.
I mean, in a story way. I don't mean like in the
Mhm.
glitchy way. Yeah, they come in during a space fight scene that's about to happen and save the day. And then I tell them, "Oh, thank God you disobeyed me."
Right. Scourge is not happy. When I told them they could come, Scourge was not happy. Like, this changes the whole plan. Damn it. He walks off.
Wait, Scourge was angry?
Exactly. More opportunities. I noticed when we got into here again. See, look, they're blasting away. You can hear they're blasting away.
That's why they're shooting at us.
They're shooting at us, but you see no blaster bolts. See?
Leave them to us.
So I figured when I saw this happen this way that if you told them that they couldn't come, I bet that they would have showed up, and this is where they would have showed up. So
Yeah.
this
right.
part then merges that choice back together. So choices that matter but kind of don't. I like that kind of choice. It still needs to merge back into a story so we can tell a cohesive story, and I don't have to do a weird thing like rewrite the whole scene and Theron's there, and one with Theron not there, and then it's like a weird, did Theron come along or not? And we never know, and it's a Schrodinger's galaxy from then on.
And the whole thing about the choices, if you look at it as just character development for your character, that's really all it is. It's not about changing the world in a persistent way, at least not for
Right.
me.
Locked on and sealed.
Right. It's your, I mean,
Ready to
in
go
some
in.
ways, it's like your head canon. You know, how do you want to have played it?
What do you
And
think
the
we'll
fact
find
that
in there?
they end up there anyway, that's fine. It's,
Nothing good.
in fact, if you don't play the other side of the story, then maybe your choice really did matter in a huge way. It doesn't matter that it did or didn't, because it mattered to you when you made the choice.
Right.
It's good enough. It was so Zen's, to your point, it wasn't much of a delay in this particular case for it to merge back together. But I didn't know if it was or not, and Seema didn't know if it was or not. And until you play it both ways, you don't know. So who cares? Look, there's me standing in the fire.
You survived.
I wonder if this fire will set me on fire. Yep, I'm on fire.
For
At
the
this
record,
point in the
this
story,
ship
I
was
was
not
asking
creepy when we
myself,
left.
why is this ship so wrecked up? I mean, what's happened here?
That was a good question. And
And yeah, and it does evolve. You do get an answer.
well, then what was the answer? Was
The answer is that the scions of Zakul and the servants were
Oh.
fighting each other.
Oh, that's right, the Scions. I forgot about them. Yeah, that's what the
Now
answer
it's
was.
the
Because it wasn't Satele and her students. They were already knocked out. They
Or
had
were
already
they?
succumbed
Or
to,
had they?
or had they? Well, they had, but was that their plan all along? Yes, it was, and we're getting to that too. Anyway,
Impossible!
so here's the servants.
Check it again.
Oh, you made the point, and I agreed back in the room after we hear the broadcast from T7. Scourge lets loose and says, "Oh, it's those dang servants. Why are they all up in our business?" And we didn't know it was the servants. T7 didn't tell us that it was the servants. Scourge is just speculating at that point, and we all just go along with it. Oh, yeah, it must be the servants. Okay, whatever you say.
Or if he has a reason to know, we don't
He didn't really
hear that
explain
reason.
it.
Yeah.
I just sort of rolled with it, but yeah, it would have been in the novel version. We'll find out that T7 actually did broadcast some information or something
So,
like that, I guess.
I mean, maybe this is why it took me a little bit longer, but when I heard that, I went like, really? Why does he think that? And I went off Googling Scourge and servants and Kira and servants.
Yeah.
So that kind of that kind of delayed my story development a little bit, but yeah.
Here we get to fight some of the servant henchmen.
Doesn't make
Oh,
sense.
servant.
Every
We get to
time I repair
fight
one
servant
system,
15. We get to fight 2 of the servants, but not the main servant who we fight later. Servant 22 and servant 15. Not very many servants. It's about 22. They're not all here, though, I bet. These weren't too hard. These fights were pretty easy. They were just strongs. They weren't even elites. Oh, this was... I meant to back it up just a second. So you start this. You hear them talking to their boss on the communicator. And Kira turns to you. You know, you're like hiding behind a crate. And Kira says, "All right, now we should sneak up and... Oh, here we go."
Because Scourge takes off.
Because Scourge just comes stomping out, like in the middle of everything. "All right, we're never gonna fight you now." And Kira just shakes her head. I thought that was good. All right, we should keep skipping ahead here. So we fight these guys, yada yada yada. We're running around the ship. We get to more of the servants and the servants' servants. So these aren't even numbered servants. These are servant crusaders and interrogators. Did you have fun ejecting the escape pod, Seema? Because I did. In fact, I was looking at all of them. I made sure I got to see which escape pods were getting ejected and what it looked like, and I tried to go in an escape pod.
You know what would make me like this kind of part of a story better is if they would just make your temporary companion be a level 50 companion.
Right. You're right. I think in one of the updates coming this week is sort of the known issues. I think they are making Ras Ordo, when you do solo mode of Spirit of Vengeance, influence 30 instead of
Hmm.
influence 1 or
That'll
something.
that'll help. I mean, I get. I mean, they're not really wanting this part to be like challenging combat, and it's only challenging. It's not really challenging for me. It's just slower, and that
Right.
I lose patience.
Right. I agree. Especially playing it in on one of your mains that's a healer. And that's a a big problem. And if you've got a companion that can't do the DPS because it just slows everything way down.
Especially since I always do one pull before I remember to change them from healer
Right.
to DPS.
Then you can't heal a mob to death. So that is a little bit of a problem. Here I am. You can even see I'm like looking all around, examining, and there was plenty of places in here again because I was making the video. I figured I would come back on another character. Plenty of places I wanted to like jump off and like climb on things. This is a cool design. I like this ship. I like this ship for the inside, and we're just about to get to. I think when we go up here, we're just about to get to a little bit of the fun flavor dialogue where you just start looking at the whole ship and you just start to question this, and you make a couple taunting statements to Scourge about, man, this whole ship, this place, it's just huge. Why is it so huge? And Scourge is like, just shut up. Just don't. It just is. I needed it, and then it actually continues. And Kira chides him a little bit later on, and she says, "Yeah, I let Scourge pick out the ship, and this is what we got." He's like, I need my space." I kind of liked that. I thought that was kind of hilarious. So here we go. A little more trash. A little more trash. We see it's all huge. Get to fight more mobs. Not a ton, but a fair amount.
Betrayed their empire, betrayed the entire galaxy to absolute.
And he's all mad
They may not
at
have
the
had it.
servants. That's why he doesn't like them. He sort of explains some of that motivation. We continue to get to where we need to go. We're trying to close out, eject all of the escape pods, and dump the extra shuttle out of the bay because we can't let anyone escape. Because remember, they're infected with part of the Emperor's mind control and potentially a connection to the Emperor's spirit. All of those people that are under that control who are here in this spot, if any one of them leaves, they could keep the Emperor alive, basically. So that's why we're ejecting all the escape pods. That's where we're shoving the shuttle out of the bay. That's why we're shutting down the ship and dismantling the the hyperdrive, warp drive, warp
I mean,
warp 9, number 1.
Lord
How
Scourge's
could you afford a
little
ship
speech
this
about why he
size?
hates the servants is actually a really one of the high moments for me because it was just I don't know, it just struck me as very meaningful. He says, you know, what being a Sith is freeing yourself
Yeah,
through your powers. And these were people who chose subjugation.
right. And I had a conversation choice to even say, well, they didn't really have a choice. It's the Emperor and all under
Yeah,
mind control. And
yeah,
he says, I dealt with that, and he did. If you know Scourge's backstory, he dealt with it for decades, and he says no, they chose.
right,
So
right.
that's a really good point. And yeah, again, more good writing, more good dialogue, more good sort of inclusion of Scourge's backstory, making it all part of the story. Here you fight a slightly bigger servant guard. Wasn't too
Science
much.
of the cool.
Must end.
You die
Oh,
in
and
a
this is where Revan shows up.
I can feel it. You must intervene.
My
before it's
dialogue
too late.
choice here, I got to turn to Scourge at the end and say,
Didn't you
what's
die
the
on
deal?
your
I didn't know you were working with Revan.
You really
I
seem
didn't
dead
get
that
right away
time.
until that dialogue
As long
that
as
we were
Tenebrae's
supposed to
spirit
know that
remains, so will mine.
Scourge and Revan, or
must be
Revan was in contact.
utterly
Revan's spirit was in contact with Scourge up to this point.
That is our plan.
I kind of got lost a little bit in
lead us
that,
in
but now,
meditation.
got it
We will join our
threw out of
minds
context
with
by the end.
Cecil's and end his
Um,
blight on the galaxy forever.
this was
Then
just
go,
the start of
quickly.
it, and I
I will
like
aid you as
definitely
best I
like by
can.
the end the inclusion basically of all of the major
Hmm.
protagonists that have fought against all of the major incarnations of the Emperor.
I I love that aspect of it because
We are
it
here.
I
Humans
mean,
will be on
it's
any
not
outpost.
believable that
That's
we
madness.
personally have gotten so powerful that we can beat the Emperor. I went with it though.
Right, not alone. Right, we
Right.
we couldn't do it alone. And
And I like that this was fight was had more people in it, more and it was harder than like when we had a similar fight and the boss was Revan.
mhm.
At least I thought it was longer and more dramatic.
Master Satil, she's still alive.
So here we
And
did
Scylla
get
dead. And the rest
the
aren't far from it.
Zakul,
So much
the
darkness.
Zakulanites.
We have to hurry.
Form a
What were
circle.
they?
Oh, the
The
Scions.
Scions. We got the Scions and their deal. That's where we just sort of glossed on by the Scions there, and the Scions were fighting the servants. Now we see that Satil is here and she's still alive. A couple of her
keep you
students
covered
did
from
not
here,
make
just
it. They
in
did
case the
die as
stragglers
part of
are hiding
this.
out. Farron?
Some of them are
She's my
still
mother.
alive.
I'm glad I
They're
can
all
help
sort
her.
of knocked out here, laying on the floor.
I don't think I want to
We
show
are
you
going
this
to
side,
do a
Mark.
little bit
To
of
one. Follow my
uh, uh, Hokie religion, and Kira leads us in a little bit of meditation. Did you say anything snarky about the Hokie religion? I kind of just went with it. I was like, all right, whatever. You want to meditate?
No, because to me this is when I this is what I love about the Force, this stuff.
Right.
That it's in everybody, that you focus it, that yeah. I mean, I yeah, no, I totally went with this part.
Yeah, I went with it. There was a little part of me in like my bounty hunters, you know, just a little part where I kind of wanted to say, yeah, whatever, okay, hokey religions and ancient weapons, but all right, I'll go with it. Anyway, I think you need to go with it regardless. I don't think there
I
was a way
think
to not.
I mean I did have a little conversation with myself while I was doing this story, and someone was asking me why would I pay a Star Wars game and pick a non-Force user to be my character?
Right. I don't think,
And
yeah,
yeah, you know, I made this decision so long ago I don't even remember what I was thinking,
I would be
but
surprised if anyone today, in like today's view of Star Wars, especially in light of The Mandalorian, if somebody would still make that statement.
yeah, you're probably right.
And that's why, for those of us that sort of had a little bit of that in our own headcanon and our own view of Star Wars back in the day, we saw that in the trailers and the lead
Mhm.
up and the idea of the troopers and the bounty hunters and the smugglers and the operatives. We saw that. So I and I think everybody is sort of getting that even in the mainstream now. You can be a non-force user, and the force, the whole magic swords and force wielders and the Skywalkers. There's a lot more to Star Wars than that, and there
Right.
always has been.
Yeah.
Always has been.
But it's usually not left up to a non-Force user to battle the big bad Force users.
Right. It's usually not. I think it could increasingly become that way. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, Din Djarin has a duel with Ahsoka Tano and holds his own, at least for a little while, until he tells her to, hey, hold up.
But she's not a big baddie.
No,
Yeah.
well, I mean, she's a pretty strong jet. I mean,
Right, but she's not
she's not
an
the Emperor,
entity
right?
that's intent on destroying the
Yeah,
galaxy.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. She's not the Emperor. She's not even Darth Vader level of Force user. So that's a good point. So here we are. We get sucked into the mindscape. We saw this in the trailer that Daniel put together, and I knew right away when I saw it that it was a mindscape. We are in Satil's mind. And I think there's some good parts here where we're going to see an interplay between the parts where the Emperor has taken over versus the parts that he hasn't. And I caught the interplay between those two parts, and we'll see it when we go to sort of the light parts of Tython. All of this is Tython, though. That's just sort of where Satiel's mindscape exists in some way, I believe. It's not really apparent, and you could argue that the dark parts are not, but I think they all are. And this is also where we meet
Who are you?
the Emperor. Here, let me turn it up because this is Darren's voice. You also get that.
You don't recognize me?
No, but you have come here on purpose. Ah, who else could you be?
Wow, Darren's voice, man.
Mm-hmm.
How does he get it so bring it down so low? What we learn here is that this is a remnant of the Emperor, and it is not completely contiguously connected to our last encounter and defeat of the Emperor. It's his force, it's his spirit, but it's not 100% of his memories.
It's Satiel Shan's memories, and she wasn't there.
Satiel's for the most part, and I think he like pulled a little bit on the students as well, and he's like,
Yeah.
and like the servants and everybody he's sort of like trying to infect and get in their heads, but Satiel's in a big way, and that's important.
I mean, one of my favorite
I've
moments
heard
in the
so
Mindscape
much
was
about
Darth
you.
Marr shows up at one point and to give you a pep talk, and you ask him a question or you ask him how he knows that,
There,
and he
good
says,
as
I
new.
only know what you know.
Right. Yeah. Because again, part of the mindscape and connected to you. Still, it's his force. It's still the force ghost of Darth Marr because he lends you some of his powers and things like that. But this is all Satiel's mind and our minds. It's the mindscape, and then the spirit of and force of the Emperor that's connected and existing within that mindscape. The even more awesome part of this that I really liked is now, as you first meet him, kill some of these trash mobs.
Most impressive.
This part right here. And what you realize is you are now encountering not just the one incarnation that you're most familiar with recently.
Impressive.
It's all of the incarnations of the Emperor. So you get Tenebrae, you get Valkorion,
Yeah.
and Vitiate. And they each represent a different aspect of the whole Emperor life cycle and different aspects of the Emperor power. And this is really the first time we've really encountered Tenebrae in this way to this degree in Star Wars: The Old Republic. We dealt with Vitiate before. The Jedi Knight story encounters Vitiate, and you fight Vitiate. Valkorion, obviously, a ton of Valkorion, but Tenebrae, this was pretty cool. I liked the model for Tenebrae. I liked Tenebrae's voice. I liked the black eyes. I liked the power represented by what Tenebrae was bringing to the table. I thought this was cool.
I thought it was kind of a bold play that, in a way, Tenebrae was the most
My
powerful
wayward child,
iteration of of these
all
three.
people
You're right.
should know better
I
than
thought
to
that was bold
challenge my
too,
strength.
and I
Also,
kind
I
of
gathered from
bought
Mr.
into it.
Jedi's memory,
It seemed to
Yeah.
make a lot of sense to me.
your minds are
And
resilient, to say the
rather
least.
than just going the
The
easy way and
depths
just
of
going to
good
Valkorion because it's
resisting so
because
ably.
it's
And they're the longest.
We've
and
done
it's
this
Darren
whole
DePaul's
it's all
voice.
twisted
Yeah,
That kind of
right.
thing.
before. You don't remember.
But when you fight them at the end, you realize you finish with Tenebrae, and I think it's for that reason he's sort of set up in that way. And he even says it. You may have gotten the whole deal with Valkorion, but the Tenebrae personality is even a little bit contemptuous of Valkorion, and turns to him at some point and says, this part of me showed weakness. Like demonstrated
Lost focus.
weakness. Like
This is the
to
body's
to
scourging
to
against
gather
the
up a
light.
family.
His original body,
What the heck are you doing, man? He's telling
Original
himself,
carved into
his
him,
future
isn't it
self, or
great?
his other
It's an
incarnation.
An echo
So
of who he was back then.
the Tenebrae version was sort of like the most pure manifestation of the Emperor's original power.
Time has never been.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Galahad said it at the same
exactly.
time as I did. He's the
Yeah.
purest of all. Exactly.
To be honest.
All right, so now we're getting mostly into this part where we're running around the mindscape, and here I liked the portals that you get to. You run around, you kill some trash, you get into this portal, and bang, the screen goes white, and you realize connected within, sort of like woven into this mindscape, is Tython, the Tython we know. I liked the eeriness and the glowing effects and the snowflakes or mind flakes floating around.
Mind flakes.
Mind flakes. I like a nice
Green
bowl of
dandruff.
mind flakes in the morning. It's Breakfast of Champions. This is where, and we talked about this before the show, this is where I got the idea for a Mindscape stronghold. What if we got a Mindscape stronghold where we could have like floating platforms connected by portals, and it's all of like this Mindscapey land, and maybe some of the dark caves that you go in and out of. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be.
Now it's a little bit of a maze. You got to jump from portal to portal. You keep hopping to different parts of Tython along the way, and you're picking up memory fragments that become part of the navigation through the mindscape. Remember, this is Satil's mind. The navigation and the solution. I got a real this is the maze. The maze is not for you. This doesn't look like anything at all to me. Westworld maze feel out of Satil's mind and the journey through those parts. You encounter the Emperor a little bit along the way, and Revan shows up to help you along, as you said. Darth Marr shows up. It was the part you were saying. Each of these little parts were pulling in, again, more of these protagonists. Revan, Darth Marr, not Mara Jade. Who's the Revan's friend?
Yeah.
Mira, yes. Mira, is that her name? Mira, chat room.
I don't know.
Remind me who that is. Mira something. She's the one who has stayed connected. Mitra. She's the one who helped Revan, as a Force ghost, helped Revan sustain himself through his assault over, again, I think hundreds of years, as he was the prisoner of the Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
Mitra is here, and she's in here with us, and she's helps out with the end fight as well. So I thought that was really cool, bringing Mitra back. Yada yada yada. We're hopping from island to island.
I am immortal.
And then we get a little bit of another scene where some more pals show up. Oh, here's Darth Marr. Darth Marr says, "I can help you along." He talks to you a little bit. Gives you some of his power, helps you get back on track. And then we get to Valen. Valen shows up again. She's pulled in here because she's all part of the Emperor's mindscape, and her brother. And here's where Senya and Arkin step up to help along this part of the sort of the roadblock. Is this where? What did you think of this scene, Seema, with Valen and Senya in particular?
Yes, I thought it was appropriate for Senya to say, "I didn't do enough."
Yeah, and I mean, this is the part that kind of, gave me the feels, because, Valen did. She got done bad.
She did.
Her whole life, and yes, she came out bad on the other end of it, but it's not all her fault. And Senya's point of I could have done more, we could have done more, we should have done more, for one. For two, sorry I killed you. That's gotta be rough. A rough
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
And I loved a little bit of closure. She doesn't, I mean, Valen doesn't come out of it going, okay, all's forgiven, hugs all around. But there's a little bit of closure here, I felt like. And I liked how this was written, that it wasn't full, full on closure, but Valen like gives, like the tiniest bit of a nod and turns her aggression on Valkorion and Tenebrae and says,
You must reach the
what was her line? I think I liked her line the best, which was, yeah.
You presume limits to my power.
You presume limits to my
There are
power.
none.
There are none. I like that little line when she blasted the Force Ghost Valkorion out of the water.
Go.
Yeah.
So again, you're being helped along. Each one of these roadblocks continues on, continues on. This is the part where now you have to sort of do this last little bit without even a companion. Could be annoying depending on the class you're on. The other thing that's annoying is walking on these little bridges. See how much slow I'm walking. Freaks me out. I don't like it, man. Except when I want to jump off. Look, I'm like, bleep, bleep, bleep. Oh no, I'm gonna fall off.
Yeah.
bunch
I
of-
kept looking at the map to make sure I was going on the right one too.
Right. Make sure you're going on the right one, because I don't want to walk on one of these stupid tight ropes and have it be the wrong one. That's driving me crazy. I get like virtual vertigo. It's because I'm like, don't look down, whatever you do. Anyway, you get to the end. Oh, wait, back it up. Here you go. And I knew this was happening. I knew this guy had a knockback. So now, is he the one? No, he must not be the one, because he didn't knock me off.
No, the Flesh Raider.
Where's the flesh? Where is he? Did I already go by him?
Oh, you already killed him, I guess. Like this guy, I just skipped him.
Oh, that's a good point. Oh, there we go. Here's the Flesh Raider, and I knew he had a knockback. So I shouldn't have shot him. I should have just run past him. And I was trying to run past, and I didn't get all the way past, but I didn't get knocked off. Yeah, so chat room and Zen makes a point there. I was a tiny little bit of annoyed, not like I need any loot, but there was no loot. No loot in the Mindscape, which I guess makes sense, but still, no gray bars even to pass up and ignore. Which is fine. Then you get to this final area where we get to the center of the maze. You get to Satil Shan, and she's there. The three faces of Valkorion of the Emperor continue to say, we're in control. You're crazy if you think you have any power here whatsoever. And they blast away. This is sort of the light side part of Tython. They blast it away, and you see that they are controlling this mindscape, or so they think. So what did you think of this? The trap. It's a trap. What did you think of the trap idea, Seema?
Oh,
You're starting to sound a bit desperate.
well,
Who are you trying
I
to
was
fool?
glad
Well, yeah.
that it was a trap.
And I mean, you had to expect some. I don't know. You had to expect something like that. But it still could have just been a simple. No, now we got to the end, and now we're gonna fight the Emperor. But this whole idea that Satil allowed herself to be captured, and she knew that the arrogance of the Emperor would ensure that she was the target, and she laid it out and laid out the pieces so that it would all come together in this way. I thought that was pretty cool.
I did too. Yeah.
And here she is, and they're like,
And also, to me, it kind of answers a question that I've had a few times in the
No.
recent past, which is, where is she? What's she up to?
right, good point.
Your power is your weakness.
Your
It
power
blinds
is your
you.
weakness. It blinds
Jedi
you.
nonsense.
Jedi nonsense.
Precisely. My students and I, who are we to resist your...
And she goes, it's a trap.
Look around you.
And they go,
Yes.
no, it's not.
around me.
We're pretty
Look at my
cool.
students.
And then,
Shaken
so
to
here
the
her
core by
her
the
students
depth
get
of
up. The
chaos
remaining
you
students.
have
Remember, we lost
help,
2 of the 6
guidance,
students
strength.
along the way.
Had you
But they
focused
get
on
up.
any one of them, you
Now
might have
they're
succeeded.
standing alongside us.
But your ego
Satil's standing
wouldn't allow
alongside
it.
us. And you
Why
start to
settle for
see
one
we're
student
getting
when
the
you could
band
assault
together.
them all?
And it's
And
not
then
just Satil. Now we start to, here's a couple,
until
there's a
the
dead
one
one.
person who proved
Now
it
the rest of the
gifted
gang
came
starts to
here
show up that
destroy
came
you,
along. We got
once
Darth
and
Marr,
for
we got
all.
Scourge, we got Revan, we got the Senya and Arkin and Valen, and that's not it. You know, in fact, did I skip it? No, I think is it after we fight even a little bit more? We get the whole, we get the scene where it's basically at the very end, I am all the Jedi. We get the I am all the Jedi scene after he says I am all the emperors or whatever. The throwback to that a little bit. And that's where we see Mitra and everybody that he's ever sort of assaulted and made has been a protagonist against him in a major way in the past. So let's just get to that part and talk about that. So here we're fighting the Tenebrae manifestation at the end. It looks like he might have knocked us down. We get back up. He's got his force power on us, and Kira holds us up mentally, and then you realize that again we're not alone, and we've got all of us that we're all standing up again, and not just all of these, but we're all shielded, and Mitra and all of these characters. You know, it's like everybody's starting to come in, and everybody's up against. It's hard to see there. They just flashed it pretty quick, but it's like hundreds or thousands of force spirits that are all in the crowd there, that are all again. Look at that scene. It's like you brought this on yourself. You created this force against you. There is no way you would ever think to win, and it's your arrogance that you would think that you would be able to survive past this.
No. In the end, you're nothing.
So the Emperor gets his final I'm not feeling so well, Mr. Stark moment. gets turned into dust and blows away. Sort of glossed over the fight. The fight's the fight. I didn't understand exactly all of what was going on, but I got through it. I stood in some things. I didn't stand in other things. I didn't really know what I was doing, but got through it relatively easily. I came close to death at least a few times. So I think I should have tried it again and learned the strategy, but I think that's okay.
So I started out trying to do that, and then I realized, no, it has to be easy enough for everyone to do it, no matter their gear, no matter their experience. And so then I stopped worrying about it.
Right. I think you're right. And I think I was trying too hard. In fact, I don't think you need to do any damage to the Emperor. I think
Welcome back.
I think there's a way for you to use the mechanics and just let your
Party.
assistants, your partners, the rest of the cast and crew do the damage. I think that might be enough.
Utterly and forever.
So then you get the final
The
camp
fifth
out
Emperor will never
scene,
rise again.
a little bit of closure with Satil. She explains
We finally
in
won.
theory.
You must
I mean,
feel
I buy it, but she
just as
explains,
I
oh yeah,
do.
he's completely gone this time for
The
true.
wave
Oh,
of evil
totally, never coming back.
Gone.
I was
Where
like,
is
rolled my
everyone
eyes
else?
just a tiny bit
My
because
son is helping Kira
I
and
could always bring him
Sarah
back.
by
They
taking
always
my surviving students
find an
to our
opportunity to bring him
training grounds
back.
on Coruscant.
And
Anyone.
Kefis is
Arkin and
actually
Seti
dead
have
this
their
Yeah,
time.
and Kefis too. She should have said that. Oh yeah, and Kefis too, and Revan. Yeah, he's totally gone now too. And
Darth Marr, Mitra Surik,
oh yeah,
Revan.
no, never,
I
not
believe they
coming
are
back.
one with the Force at last.
Anyway,
Wait. How much
she
time
says
has
that they
passed?
are. It
Not
seems pretty
important.
sincere. Then
You have given my
then we get
selection a great
Lana
day.
coming to pick us up. Thanks, Space Mom, for the ride home. I really like Lana.
I've had worse.
Lana!
What's next on the agenda?
So Lana's good. You have a little moment with Lana. You get to pick where you head back to, either back to the war, or let's find a quiet place to just chill out a little bit, or let's go home. Which one did you pick, Seema? The war?
That must have
No, I
That's
said no. I
one
said
way of
home.
putting it.
Yeah, I went
You'll
home.
have to tell me
There's
all
no place
about
like home. or so I've heard.
But first,
And then the very final point, which I wanted to close on, which obviously they wanted to close on, which I think is more important than anyone is realizing, is this right here. Well, maybe everybody's realizing it.
Aaron Lanier.
Yeah, I think probably everybody's realizing it.
Aaron Lanier. I discovered this, guys. I'm the only one who knows what's going on here. Not at all. Everybody obviously does. No, but there's some debate. What is the next story? So here's Aaron Lanier. Some people are saying, no, what I think the next story is going to be will be a Mandalorian War. And the setup through Spirit of Vengeance and what we're seeing there, that's going to be the next story. I don't think so. I think Spirit of Vengeance and us defeating the bosses that we defeat there, I think that was that side story. I think that was done. Aaron Lanier.
No, no, no.
Oh, you don't think so?
No, because first of all, I think what you're about to say is she has connections and has fought Malgus before.
Yes.
But we don't know who's behind these attacks on the Spirit of
Oh, so you think it might be a combo that maybe
Yeah.
Malgus has put these other Mandalorian rebel clans up to this and is using that as an outreach of some of his power.
Mhm.
So what I was going to say, you're right. Aaron Lanier has deep connections to Malgus. She was part of the Deceived storyline for Malgus. She was a Jedi who actually fought and dueled Malgus. There was an interconnection, and I don't want to spoil that story all too much, but that ended up in a situation where, enemies to death, but grudging respect, and separated before either of them killed the other through a series of events. She's had run-ins with Malgus before. She has connections to Malgus, and
And she's had run-ins with Satele.
Right. And yeah, Satele, sort of, again, positive and negative. She was kicked out of the Jedi Temple because she went after she did some other hunting for other reasons. And this whole idea of, hey, Satele goes, Aaron Lanier, I understand you've got quite a story to tell. Quite a story to tell. This is the next story. And I think it's going to be Malgus. So with that, and I don't know. And now you convinced me, Seema. I think you saying, can we tie the Mandalorians in and the rebelling clans into something that is going to help drive the Malgus story? I still think it's going to be a Malgus centric story, but having a Mandalorian war and Mandalorian clans as part of that seems reasonable to me too.
I'm nodding. Seems reasonable to me too.
Seems reasonable. We solved it, but it's got to be Malgus. Malgus is off the chain. His chains are broken. He's off the leash. He's out there.
And I mean, it's going to have many threads, right? Because we're coming off a 9-year story and we're starting up a new story. So it's not going to be,
right. It's not going to be one
over
thing. It's not
in
going to be
2021.
a one and done fight with Malgus and that's it. We did just finish up, you're right, a 9-year story. In fact, longer than 9 years because it goes back to what was happening even before. It's the whole Emperor. It's an era is over because this is the same Emperor that Revan was dealing with. This goes back to the KOTOR days. That era is now over.
Yeah, that's true.
And it was like a final coda on the Emperor story. Something new is coming, and it's got to be an epic arc. It won't just be eventually they've got to get to an epic arc. I mean, Charles could just write up a one and done interim story with Malgus. I think it would need to be bigger and span, and he would be crazy if he didn't do that. All right, we've gone again super long, but this was worth it. I think a real nice spoilery breakdown of this content, which we all had a lot of fun with. I do need to run the production version, so maybe we can do that this weekend, Seema. I don't know what you're doing. Let's do it. Spirit of Vengeance, so we can see it for real, because we only saw it on the PTS and it wasn't completely done, and we didn't get all of the cutscenes in the story.
Yeah,
I do want to see that. and then see if we get any other clues by the end of that out of those cutscenes on what might be next as well. And maybe we can circle back on that next week. And otherwise, with that, I think we're ready to wrap up here. EPC 363 droid is ready to broadcast this out. And if you would like to hear more or keep up with us and hear about what the next show is going to have and entail, you can follow us on Twitter at Max the Gray. And what we're really looking for is people to come have fun in Star Wars The Old Republic with us. We are on Starforge. Our guild is aie-guild.org, where you can find guild information, including our guild Discord. You can join up. We've got guilds on both the Republic and Imperial side. We're that kind of big gaming community across many games. We've got a bunch of people playing Cyberpunk 2077 right now. But we're also really family-friendly gaming community. We got a lot of like parents that play with their kids. We're very happy to pull people in that way. It's a nice place for everybody to come be and hang out. We had a really fun double ops team night tonight. We have our Tuesday night mandatory fun nights. We have our Friday night events and our monthly epic game activities, our megas. If you want any of that, aie-guild.org. We would love to have you. And with that, we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.